Have you heard this? They're gonna build a hotel in the
Well, of
space.
course.
Yeah,
Where
see?
where where are people gonna sleep when they go there?
Let's say back in the Kennedy's era, different countries race to the moon, right? And then right now, it's similar, but it's not country, it's entrepreneurs. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Elon Musk cannot be controlled by money. And that's why they're afraid and fear of him. So how's your 2024 so far?
So far, I only have one word:
Okay.
amazing.
Amazing.
Yes.
Okay. Well, a lot of predictions out there. Most of them very negatively fearful, chaotic. Those are the words.
Yes, but I have opposite meanings for those three words. But that's
Okay.
okay.
What are the opposite meanings?
Whatever fearful, whatever opposite of that is, whatever chaotic opposite of that is. See, my thing is this, like I think I told you,
Mm-hmm.
like when you're starting anything, like let's say a person's first starting working out,
Right.
his muscles are going to be sore, her legs are going to hurt,
Yeah.
you're going to have hyperventilation, everything in your body is going to elevate to the
Right.
point where it's unhealthy. If you were to take a blood test, everything
Mm-hmm.
would be unhealthy. But if you continue doing that, you're going to be in better shape than you ever were in your whole life.
Yes.
So by all this chaotic stuff that we're doing, if it continues, and it has to continue, we're going
Yes.
to be in better shape than we've ever been before.
Oh, that's very true. I never thought about that
Always,
way.
always,
That
yes. Because I was
yes.
exactly like, that's why I say it's what's happening does hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And with when you work out, you have to, let's say I have a slow recovery, or
Mm-hmm.
I have to massage. Those things you have to do to keep yourself going. So if you,
Right.
and then eating more or less depending on what you want to do, you have to make adjustments outside of the gym before you even come in. Even the mental attitude, right?
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to the gym today and I'm going to work out, right?
That's right.
Instead of thinking, oh my goodness, I have to get out again. Oh my, and then you don't go.
Or so
And one day
cold,
turns into
freezing
two
these
days and
days.
3 days, like, and then you start hating yourself.
Right.
And that is not the way to live.
Wow. Dr. Jesse, how do you say your last name? I don't want to boo.
Dr. Joe, I got that
Dr.
from
Jesse.
Joe. Dr. Joe Dispenza, please.
No, you. So, but the reason why the people predict it's chaotic and fearful is because there's actually 42 or 43 elections going on this year. And because how we've been talking about power and hierarchy and elites, so all those power exchange that some people don't want to lose that power, and that will cause chaotic, and people will try to cancel the opponent or enemies, right? That they call it.
And and I think it's only chaotic because people are confused.
Yeah, it's uncertain, so that's why
And
that's.
as you mentioned, the elite,
Mhm.
which I have a whole different definition of. However, the elite planned it all this
Hmm.
year to get everybody confused, and let's get all the elections done by this time. It's a process. I believe you mentioned Bucky's name a few weeks back, but that's part of their process.
Hmm.
Does it have to work? No. You just need to be more self-confident,
Self-aware.
self-aware, all that.
Yeah.
And I mentioned I started with self. That means it has to start with you, right?
Yes,
Like the
exactly.
gym, going to the gym. I'm going to go not because I want to look good on the beach or I want to look good for the wedding. it has to be for something bigger than that. Otherwise, you're really gonna half-ass it if you really,
Right.
speak bluntly, and it's not gonna work, and then you're gonna go back to where you were before.
Yes.
Nowhere.
Yes, especially, every year in the beginning, everybody makes some resolutions, and losing weight seems like the top three, right? Resolutions. And
Right. What are
by
they?
what? By March,
Yeah.
all those resolutions or goals will fade out. Oh, yeah.
Losing weight,
Losing
saving
weight,
more money,
make
eating
more
healthy,
money. Yes.
right?
Because we just came out, every holiday we just came out of a big fest, big
Right.
meals.
And what does everyone buy on Valentine's Day? That's coming up next month, right? Besides flowers, chocolate.
Chocolates. Yes.
Mm.
And then going out to dinner too,
Oh my goodness. Why not? Let's splurge. It's only once a year. And you notice if you add all those holidays up together,
Mhm.
once a year becomes once a month or twice a
Actually,
month, right?
yeah, there's something every month, like
Right?
Mother's Day coming up,
Oh, of
and
course. Let's go out to dinner.
Chinese New
Let's
Year. I
go out
don't
to
know.
dinner
I don't know if you guys
a
celebrate
few
that.
days in a row.
How about mixed culture? Like China. I mentioned Chinese. I'm sure there's a lot of Hispanic culture too, right? Like I don't know. You should know more than me. Like
There's all sorts of different cultures out there.
yes, yes. So and we in California, there's so many different culture, and we tend to celebrate every single culture, even though some people don't know what they are.
Right,
Yes, what-
right. How many times you say, "Oh, I'm going to go here,"
right.
and they say why, or someone asks you why,
Hmm.
and you say, "Oh, it's because of this." And well, you're not that from that culture. I know, but I need to celebrate it because
Just
whatever
because.
the reason,
Yes.
yeah, the reason does not have to be valid.
Yeah,
It's a
it
made
kind
up
of
reason, and you just do it anyway.
right. It just kind of it's like a following culture, like like the social media platform. You see people post on IG. Oh, I gotta have that. I gotta do that. It's a
Right.
So that's why let's say in these past few weeks, Elon Musk's name is on the headlines
Oh
again,
yes, what's going
and
on with Mr.
because
Elon?
because social media, the X, formerly Twitter, as we all know, he bought Twitter a year ago, and
I have a big story behind that.
it's been a
Um,
roller coaster,
anyway, go
and
ahead.
it's been a roller coaster for X, and a lot of people are attacking, a lot of negative news about how he operates, and fire all the former employee, and then all the politic view. Now the advertising, don't want to do any advertiser, and
Well,
he even say F you to
I'm not defending.
business.
I'm not pro or con Elon Musk.
Hmm.
However, when a company gets taken over by a new owner, regardless of what industry,
Yeah.
they have a phrase called "we're going to clean house." Now, before they do that, they all have a meeting with everybody, the new and the old company, and what's the number one thing they say? Oh, don't worry. No
Hmm.
one's going to be laid off. There's not going to be any changes. A seamless transition. However, within 30 days, you get the layoff notices, right?
Yeah, so
That's
you
normal.
that's a very good point, because we just talk about there's 40 some elections across the globe. So, changing leadership is also changing, like we just said, clean the house.
Yeah,
So, yeah, but somehow, like you mentioned as a workout, as a example, every time you clean the house, there's hardship first. There's like
yeah,
floor pain, all that. And
yes. What do they
yeah,
call them? The growing pains. You have the growing pains.
yeah, so Elon Musk is I personally admire, and a lot of entrepreneurs are admire his visions and his bold bold statements. So I'm kind of, admire him in both vision, how he runs business and his bold statement. Sometimes the statement is not related to business, but um we need people like that, like to say it straight out, because
Okay.
yeah, because and that's why there's a lot of news headlines about him these days because people are again afraid, fear, because people don't want people the higher end people don't want the average citizen or average people to know the truth, right? So
Mhm.
they again they personal character assassin, personal damage, personal brand damage.
Mm.
Like they're putting out that he's allegedly using drugs,
Oh
mushroom,
yes, that's the most
because
recent one, right? And all of a sudden, is that correct? The
yeah,
last how many times
well,
has he been on the news? But all of a sudden, this is the first time I've heard drug use in his past.
because if you or any audience watched the Joe Rogan show, his first interview, he was smoking weed on the show.
He
Have
was
you seen
smoking,
weed? Well, Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan.
and Elon, they were both partaking in the smoking.
Yes,
Okay.
so Joe Rogan shows about drinking and sometimes
Are you
that.
sure he didn't do like
So
Obama? He put it, but he didn't inhale. Or who was that one
Obama.
politician?
Yeah, so
I go,
I'm
hey, that's called secondhand smoke, Mr. Obama.
yeah. Oh,
Anyway, continue.
anyway, yeah. So just just to be in that same spirit, same
Mhm.
space, I have my little drink shots here today. Just
Oh, it's a Joe Rogan experience. Okay.
yeah,
JRE. Oh, whoa. It's at 5 o'clock somewhere. Is that coffee or two?
this is called Fireball.
Oh, okay. You're on fire today, but let's like water. Let's continue flowing.
Yeah, so Elon Musk, so a lot of stories, and even just a month ago, all those elites, we call it like politician, or even the big companies, including Disney,
Hmm.
are attacking X. So he just like, publicly say, fuck it. And don't don't threaten me with
That's
money.
right.
Remember?
There was there's a meeting or seminar that all the elites attend, but he did not attend.
I believe it's the electrical car summit or something.
Let me see if I can
Every
find it. Go ahead and
yeah,
continue talking. I'll see if I can find it.
yeah, every auto industry brands name, make, model, Ford, Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, they all participate in that automobile summit because of the electrical car. But he's not. I'm not sure if he didn't invite it or he just decided not to go. But
Actually, you could be correct. There is a automotive summit. However,
mhm,
the one I'm actually referring to is an annual event, the World Economic Forum in
mhm.
Davos. That's the big one.
Yeah. So does he didn't get
He
invited
did
or?
no. Here's the story.
Okay, tell us.
He said he did get invited, but he chose not to come. But
Mm,
Davos or the World Economic Forum is saying, no, he was never invited.
uh,
However, this is the first time that that's happened. Now, I cannot confirm that, but maybe someone out there can look it up and do a search on it because it looks like he was not invited for the first time in forever. He's always been invited, but this year he did not. In his
yeah,
words, he chose not to partake. But that's a big, huge meeting where all the elites attend.
right.
Now we're gonna have to go ahead and maybe in a future episodes put a more clear definition on who or what an elite is. But for
Okay.
now, somebody who has the power to attend the World Economic Forum and attend the conference.
Right.
Okay.
It's always that way, like you don't get to invite it because you're not on our side or you piss me off or you know what I mean?
Well,
And
it,
in this case is he just outspoken and he put out a platform that we are able to speak our expression, our truth,
well,
and because of a politic election year, and that is very sensitive to some, right? And if we go into the politic on his view, I know he was rooting for Biden 2020 election. He even voted him. He said that, but now he turning his view around, right? I don't know if you follow
And
that.
I'm not sure if I do, but I've been hearing a lot of chatter
Mm,
where many people are disappointed in Biden.
yeah, yeah.
The same way they were disappointed, and I mentioned his name a few moments ago, the previous president,
Well,
right?
Biden is now crowned for the worst rating in the
And
presidential history of the U.S.
unfortunately, it's the both of them, the two top positions, right?
Yes, I think again it's all because back to the social media, it's telling us what's real, what's not, and what to believe and what's not. And again, back to you, if you're not self-aware, then you just like like you walk the dog, right? I'm sorry to say
Oh
that,
my goodness, I
but
speak
it's
so
just like while you walk the dog,
fast.
the
You
dog
get
has to follow
distracted.
you, huh?
Yes. Sometimes
Yeah.
when you're walking the dog, it's easy to get distracted, especially if you have your phone with you. You're walking the dog, but you're looking down, and
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's why you'll be surprised even until today, 2024 January, all the things that Biden has done in the last what 3 years, some people are still rooting for him. You'll be shocked. And
Well,
that is because they don't have self-aware and they are, in the sleeping mode, I call it. Yeah.
I perhaps many of those people are not in the audience because if you were, you wouldn't be watching this, right? You'd be asleep,
Well,
right? Anyway,
yeah. So sleeping or not, it's just again I just have to have self-aware, self-consciousness, and I back to Elon Musk. I've been following him for a while, and I want to recommend this book. His
okay.
biographic. It's not written by him, but
Mm,
it is interview. The author interviewing him, and it goes into very depth personal stories how he came about, from Google, PayPal, and before PayPal, and like I mentioned, all the entrepreneurs are very admire of him, his vision.
mm,
And back then, I'm sure everybody had used PayPal, right? And PayPal was sold for 1.5 billions, I believe, in the early 2000s, right? And then his net worth was 180 millions, I believe, and
mm,
he take that amount and he put into three companies:
mm,
SpaceX, Tesla, and Solar City.
mm,
So all his company, I don't know if you can Google it. He has about, I'll say, close to 10 different companies. So the most famous one, of course, is SpaceX, Tesla, and there's like the Boring Company. There's Starlink, and there's like Solar Cities, solar panels, and there's many other ones that yeah.
oh yes, I heard about Starlink with trying to help the war
Right.
in Ukraine, right?
Yeah, and he's so basically for if people who really like
Oh wow, yeah, we have a
study
few.
him.
You're right. You have, yeah, and I saw Neuralink in there and OpenAI.
Yeah, OpenAI. He was kind of
Wow.
he kind of started at it back then with the current founder. So
Oh,
my point,
he has a brother named Kimball.
I don't know his brothers.
Wow, everyone look at that. It looks like he has a brother named Kimball. I could be mistaken. Could be the
Yeah,
way I'm reading it. But it was him in 1995, his brother Kimball and George Corey founded Global Link. And it
yeah,
renamed it to Zip2. What does that mean? What is that company about? Let me see. I
It's
have
it's
no idea
all
what that is.
it's all related to technology because, like I said, I learned from this book. He's fantasized to go to the space since he's a little kid. So and he has a passion towards that. So now his passion, his dreams become reality.
Oh, it's a web software startup.
Yeah,
Oh, online city guides for newspapers.
yeah.
I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure there's money there. Otherwise, he wouldn't be doing it.
So what I'm trying to say is, well, let's put it this way, because I also did go deeper on all his companies, current companies. So all companies are part of going to Mars, if you really think about it. Because
I was thinking. I knew you were going to say that. So he's going to take those companies and move them to Mars.
yeah, he's gonna, advance the humanity to a multiple planet, multiple planet species.
I
So,
wonder. I wonder how you could get a commercial real estate license for Mars,
oh, I'm sure
right?
they, yes. Well,
Because
it's
he
already
has to buy
coming.
the land on Mars, right? So someone has to sell it to him.
Yes, exactly. And guess
What?
what? They're not gonna transact with the dollar, they transact with the crypto.
Well, of
Hello.
course.
so,
Yeah.
so
You
he's a big
know why? Because
supporter
if
for
you try to
cryptos.
do money and you try to ship it over there, like let's say if you try to ship paper on Earth, it's not going to work. So you just do it electronically.
Yes. Well, not necessarily. We don't have to go to Mars. We just talk about on here, Earth planet, if we're gonna transfer money,
You know, there's
or
now going out.
transact money.
I'm going to go out in another branch over here, another limb. But many people say that, and I won't mention any names, but they believe that we've been on Mars already for the past 50 years and
Yeah.
more and even longer.
Yes.
Wow.
That's from the
So maybe
old.
Elon already knows. Maybe he's already been to Mars.
That's came from the old Russia. Russia already sent those what do you call ro- rovers or some sort of machines to Mars in the 1950s or 40s already. Yeah.
1930s, maybe.
Yeah, no kidding. So anyways, I was talking about money. So money transact doesn't have to doesn't have to do that to go to the Mars. That takes forever. Even on planet Earth today, right now, it
Right?
takes all forever from point A to point B. It's very frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
If we have to wait more than 10 minutes for the transaction to go through, that's not good.
oh no, no, no! It's like almost a week now,
Yeah.
and Bitcoin is like instant, right? So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. If
So
not instant, it's definitely faster.
yes. So back to Elon Musk. So all his company is all kind of connect together. Starlink is the satellite Wi-Fi,
Hmm.
and Tesla is the vehicle per se to use on Mars. And then of course SpaceX is the one that take everybody there. And then you mentioned about we already been to Mars long time ago.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm just repeating what I heard.
Yeah. What about moon? Because
The
there's
moon?
another story last week. Someone is trying to go to the moon for the human remains. You know, spray the
Hmm.
human remain on the moon. Have you heard of
I
that?
saw that. I saw that
Yeah,
on the internet.
yeah. So I
Now,
believe.
what is that about? What happened? I didn't read the
Well,
story. I just read the title.
it's like I don't know who's the remain, who
Right.
was the remain, but like we respect that person. But the story that I heard is that someone is trying to have that person's remain to spray on the Mars. I mean, on moon.
Oh, yes, yes. Now I remember. Someone who passed away on
Right.
Earth. They want to take him to Mars
And
and
no,
spread the remain. I'm sorry, on the moon and
right.
spread their ashes.
Ashes. Yes.
Right, right.
So, but no one knows who that person, whose ash or remain that is,
It's
right?
almost like a dying wish, right? What do you think? Most likely, it was a dying wish. Oh, please spread my remains on the moon. And what does everyone do? Oh, that's his dying wish. I'll do it.
No,
Oh,
that
that's her famous last
and
words. Okay.
yeah, and here's the thing, if we take that to more like a politic view, then
Mm.
start people going to say, uh, there's no ownership yet on the moon
Or
or even Mars,
maybe, or
but
maybe the person, or maybe the person, entity, or elite already own property on the moon, and they don't want that on their property.
yes, I believe some country already doing
Something.
some stuff on the dark side of the moon. I
Yeah.
heard,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we are. Remember, it's kind of interesting that, let's say, back in the Kennedy's era, different countries raced to the moon, right? If you remember that era, like Soviet Union is trying to get there, and United States trying
Don't
to
forget.
get there
Don't
to the
forget.
moon.
Don't forget Germany.
Germany, yes, Germany too. And then right now it's similar, but it's not country, it's entrepreneurs. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, all those big people. Jeff Bezos also had his company that's related to space traveling. Do you know that? Think it's called
Blue
space.
something, right?
Yeah, Blue something. And
Blue.
yeah, and Richard Branson, the Virgin brand, he had
Oh yeah.
he
Yes. Yes.
yeah. So it's how interesting that back then is country and now is like the riches. See who can get there first.
Wow.
Yeah. So Elon Musk, I still think he will be the one who's be the first company or first entrepreneur that really could go far into the even Mars or moon again. Yeah. But however, a lot of the Apollo astronauts back in the 40s, like
Hmm.
Neil Armstrong, the Buzz Omen, are not really um, how do you say, really approved for him to do that. So I'm sure there's some sort of cover up there that they know people don't know. That's why they oppose for the space traveling to the moon.
So they have to like ask permission,
No
something
permission.
like that.
No. I'm sorry. Maybe I
Oh no, I'm
chose the
just trying
wrong.
to follow your train of thought. That's okay.
Yeah. It's not permission, but they don't advise. They don't agree for Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos to innovate for human to have this space travel. Like we travel to other country. Now later on we can travel to other planet. That's what they're
Mm,
trying to do right now. Yeah.
mm.
And they even saying they're gonna build. Have you heard this? They're gonna build hotel in the
Well, of
space.
course.
Yeah,
Where
see.
where where are people going to sleep when they go there? Right?
Yeah.
Hotels. You're going to have restaurants,
Yes. All whole
and
nine yard.
not everybody wants to eat in the hotel restaurant, so they're probably going to go out and what's a good KFC would be up there, or what's the other one that has chicken? Jollibee, right?
Yeah, so that's why Elon Musk is back on the headlines, and everybody is trashing X because from last elections, you remember how that went. So our former president got shut down his account from Twitter, and
There's a multiple people who's had accounts shut down by
uh,
Twitter.
yes, Andrew Tate, and
Oh
then
yeah.
Alex Jones, so many, and then he revised them. See?
Yes, yes. He, what do you
And
call him? Reactivated them, right?
yes, because here's the thing: the elite, or whatever you want to call it, the politicians, higher ends, they can't think. Money controls people, which is true in a way. For average citizen like us, we tend to get controlled by money somehow if we don't have a self-conscious or self-awareness.
Right.
But Elon Musk cannot be controlled by money, and that's why they're afraid and fear of him. You see what I
Oh,
mean? Yeah, because
sounds,
if
sounds familiar, but okay.
sounds
Can you?
familiar.
Yeah, it does. Go on.
Did you have a deja vu moment? So many people are, try to use money to control people,
Yep.
and that's why they are afraid of Elon Musk, because he cannot be controlled, and he has the platform to really I won't say interference, influence the
Mm,
elections, right?
mm,
So talk about elections. So by the time this recording release, Taiwan is the country that my country, where I came from, has the first, I believe, the first election of all out of the 40 some election this year, and this is gonna trickle down a lot of stuff because China again is trying to claim, they say, claim back the land, but actually this particular island, this land, was never belonged to China.
I heard
You
a.
know?
I don't know if I read it there in on the internet or somewhere.
Mhm.
There was there's even though Taiwan is not part of China, there's a lot of people on the Taiwan island who think they're part of China.
Yes, well,
You know what I mean? There's like
yes,
there's some okay, we're not, and there's some yes we are. So you have the election coming up. I wonder who the person running for the top position, are they for China or against China? Or if you're against China, that means you're pro-American, right? Or pro-Western. So I wonder where they stand.
it's like American here, two parties left and right, and one party is more favor of independency, one is more favor of um,
What's your prediction for Taiwan?
my prediction is no matter which left or right got elected, eventually China will make this move. Yeah, it doesn't matter who got elected, because I believe China's already have an eye on on the island, so it doesn't matter who.
So
You see
you're
what I mean?
predicting World War III then.
No, I'm not. Well, it might trigger World
It's
War
gonna
Three,
trigger
because
it.
remember Nancy Pelosi, the lady, Nancy
Let me
Pelosi,
go ahead
this
and do a
Speaker of the
picture.
House. So
Nancy
speaker,
Pelosi.
yeah. So Speaker of the House. Remember, I believe this is early last year. She visited Taiwan. Speaker.
Second Speaker of the United States House of Representatives from 2007 to 2011, and again from 2019 to 2023. Okay. And
Yes,
she went to China
Taiwan, not
or
China.
Taiwan.
Yes, and when she was there, she was advocate for, oh, we're gonna be on your side. We're gonna protect you. We're gonna be, if anything happens, if China do something, we're gonna be supporting the
Hmm.
Taiwan. And you remember what happened after she visited and after she said that? We
What,
talked about it last
what
time
happened?
on the show. Something happened to her husband. Remember?
Oh, I'm not
Yeah,
sure. I'm not sure if that had any connection, but okay.
yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
I
I
mean,
do.
you can't.
I do. Sorry, I mean not
Yeah.
sorry. I do think there's a connection, because out of the blue that happens, and it's shot on video, and then she stepped down after that,
Mm.
right? I mean,
But hasn't. But
coincidence does happen,
well, the
but
thing is, isn't Taiwan friendly with the United States?
huh? Yeah,
So by her going and doing that, unless you're saying that it wasn't an American interest who attacked her husband, it was someone outside the country.
yes.
Ah,
Well,
gotcha.
well, here's the thing.
That could be something.
But here's the thing. I know what you mean. Like, I'll just say, China is not happy about her action for that action. And of course, by this time, I'm sure there's insider who work for China,
Yes,
and
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes.
So it's not necessarily a person from there, but a person was direct in maybe in this country to do
Well,
something like that.
one
So,
one way to do it would be, many people get someone else to do their dirty work. Someone
yeah,
who is not even associated with them, maybe a second, third party.
yeah.
And there's no
So
connection to the original party. It is exchanged
uh,
twice, right?
yes,
Wow.
that
Okay.
just remind me what you just described. Just
Hmm.
remind me of January 6th again.
Ah,
Someone is doing the dirty work is not
yes.
connected to the maybe well they
Yes.
claim. I forgot where I saw where I watched that or heard that there was a undercover FBI agent,
Hmm.
200 some
Hmm.
FBI agents. Oh, I remember it was came from this was I heard from a Tucker Carlson's show, and
Okay.
he was interviewing I'm not sure it's former FBI agent or not, but that person seems like knows about the in and out. Yeah, ins and out.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's like um a normal scenario, because if you look at anything, like even we were talking about CEOs, entrepreneurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And many times after you start your business, it's up and running. Let's just say use Elon's company,
Right.
SpaceX, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elon's not the one building the rocket.
No.
He
Yeah.
doesn't touch that, right? He
He,
doesn't pick up the tool and put something together. It's
mhm.
not that he doesn't, he's got other things to do, but he has someone else to do that,
Yes.
right? And he has someone else to pick up the hardware, software from the company, ship it over, truck, little things. You can make the same comparison with a military general. He's not the one on the ground fighting the war. He's
But
got
there,
someone, a
yeah.
private, uh, you know, a sergeant. It goes up, captain, lieutenant. It goes up. Same thing with Elon Musk. You have, entry level, and then you get supervisor or assistant, and then it goes up and up and up. He's not
Yeah.
the one getting his hands dirty, so to speak. Not to say that he never did, because he may have when you're younger.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's a
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he or someone who's in that position will be
Mhm.
the one who's calling the shots, right? Funny thing that you brought this up because I do encounter a few friends or someone who's does not agree to, let's say, Elon Musk. Like for example, like what you just said. Oh, he's not the one who's sending people to to Mars or to space. It was the engineer or the people who doing
Yeah,
the yeah. But
yeah,
but again, at the end of the day, he's the founder. Without him,
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
without
and
him,
that's a
his
normal
vision,
scenario. I mean, when you move into a house and you buy the house, you're not the one necessarily who built it.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I
I'm
own
just
it.
buying the house,
Yes,
right? I
yeah,
own it, but
yeah,
I didn't build it,
yeah. Well,
right?
this statement came from a person who's very worshiping communists. So
Chinese Chinese person or not? That
huh?
doesn't matter. You can be any race and be communist.
Yeah, it can be any race, but
Yes.
this person was, yeah, he was saying, so in this case, then all the employee or all the people who does the labor work, including Amazon, Amazon warehouse, a lot of complain too. Those people should get a share of the revenue of some sort. That's what the
Hmm.
person, you know.
But let's back up. Let's back up a few minutes. I was looking at your
Okay,
Tucker Carlson bombshell. It says here in the
sure.
title,
Okay.
and it was back in January 8th, a few days ago,
Uh-huh.
where it was estimated. Let's see who says it. Republican Clay Higgins
Mm. What did he say?
believes that there is easily 200 FBI undercover assets operating in the crowd
Right.
on the day of January 6th.
Yes. See, I'm not joking. Even though my
And let's see, and Tucker Carlson, you said he interviewed an agent, right?
that's the point
Who
of
also
Mhm.
says the same thing.
Yes.
So there
Even
might
though
be, there could be some truth there, not just, and everyone may not believe it, but looks like two
yeah.
people are saying, hey, yes, there were. Oh, FBI Director Christopher Way has
Mm.
refused to answer questions about undercover FBI assets. Instead of saying absolutely not, he just says, I refuse to answer the question. Now
Yes, that's telling
that's
you
yeah,
everything.
right. It's like when you
But
come
no,
home and you
right?
get caught, cheating on an exam.
Or
I
cheating
didn't
on
do it. Okay, you
cheating
didn't
on
do it.
your marriage too.
The marriage, well, marriage is a giant exam. Every day you get tested.
Yeah.
Woo!
So even
Even
though
when you're asleep,
let's
you
put it
better
this
not be
way.
having bad dreams. Okay.
Yeah, even though me might sound so bullish sometimes or whatever I said, but it's already out there. Okay, people just have to look and I just add up my personal point of view or experience. Yeah,
Right.
which
Okay.
is yeah,
So everything that we talk about has already been on the internet.
yeah.
We're
But
just
of course
repeating it a day or two later. Okay.
yeah, but we both add our own view, which that's the
Okay.
purpose of this sharing, with our
Wow.
audience. Yeah,
200 FBI agents.
yeah.
Wow.
And of course, if you want to go back to that episode that we did, I can put a link under, and
Yes.
we even talk about when some Capitol Police call out for assistance and nobody says they're available.
Right.
So
Or I think what I also heard was the phones were not working for 30 minutes.
yeah, but
Something like that. It
yeah,
could be anything.
yeah. So again, adding my personal point of view, I believe this is a setup. So there you go.
And then you mentioned Nancy Pelosi's name.
It's a
She
matter.
was she
Yeah.
was at the Capitol that time, right? That day.
Yes. So everything,
There's a lot of information about that January 6th.
yeah. So because we're in this age of information, of course, some are fake, some are true, and back to your self-awareness, self-consciousness, we just have to get different resource, right? We can get
Right.
some people watch, let's say CNN or those mainstream media, and then oh, okay, this is what it is.
I mentioned this in the last episode
Uh-huh.
that presidential candidate, his name is
Yeah, what is his name?
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yvette.
And he
Okay.
mentioned that he believed January 6th was Trump's fault at the time because of the media outlet showing. But he says, as time went on, I found out that it was exactly what we're talking about right now. 200 FBI agents in the crowd. Excuse me, Capitol Hill did not respond, and they are one of the best trained organizations in the world. Excuse me. And now he's saying, and this was on last year in August,
Right.
was on Tucker Carlson.
Hmm.
He says the FBI and the CIA lied about something else. On August 18th, it was about 9/11.
Mm. I
So now
didn't.
we're mentioning, right? And he says Americans can't handle the truth.
Back to
Now
that
here's
movie.
the funny thing: we're mentioning these American institutions like the FBI and the CIA
Yes.
lying.
Yes.
And I believe there's somebody that you also listen to. His name is Patrick
But David's.
Bet David,
Yes.
and he likes to do interviews or with mafia
Yes. He made
people, right?
he made movie on that too.
Right.
Yes.
And the thing is, with the mafia, he also interviewed undercover FBI agents,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Tucker Carlson, FBI, CIA lied about 9/11. And undercover FBI agents in the mafia. And when they were being interviewed, they said, "Do you think that's a lie?" And he goes, "No, that's not a lie. I was doing my job.
Mm,
My job was to capture these criminals."
mhm.
So when you're talking to a so-called government employee and they have a story that they have to share with everyone else, and in their mind it could be for the good of the American people, we may not think it's good, but they may think it is, or they are doing it for their job, country. They believe what they're doing is right. Maybe those 200 FBI people on January 6th were thinking they were doing it for the good of their country. So they were not doing anything wrong. It all
Okay.
depends on what side of the line you're,
Yeah.
like you mentioned it. What side of the line are you talking? You know,
Yes.
are you
Right. Right.
pro Taiwan, anti
Yes.
Taiwan,
Yeah.
pro
I
Chinese?
agree. Yes.
They
There's
both
one.
are the same. They're
Yes.
both doing it for their country. You know what I mean?
Yes. So in response to what you just provide us, well, first one, this show is open to different point of view is fine. Yes, I love that. Second of all, because you mentioned about FBI, CIA, I also noticed that if you really or military, right, generals, if you really look into our system, every president's either they have 4 year one term or 8 year two term, right? So that
Mhm.
total of 8 years to be influential of the policy of the country or some stuff related. But FBI, CIA, or even military, they are in for 20, 30, 40 years. You see what I'm talking about here? So who's the more influential in this case?
Hmm.
We
So
get
you're
it?
comparing it from a temporary
Yes.
contract worker like the president or
Yes.
someone who's in for life like a 20, 30-year person.
Yes.
Wow.
Back
That's
to
a good,
Elon
that's a
Musk.
good look. Uh-huh.
Back to like we mentioned about he didn't build this rockets, but he's the one calling the shots. You
Okay.
see what I mean? So
Hmm.
it's all linked together. So that's why FBI, CIA, or NSA is all, or even NASA. It's all people who works there, especially the higher end people. They probably there 50, 60 years, right? So they've been influencing the company or influencing the system. And if you hire a new manager or president in this case, then they only have they can only cut the shot for 4 years or 8 years, and that's
Hmm.
it. What do you think about Joe Biden's legacy is gonna be?
Oh, yes.
Because I just thought about something
Mm.
and can circle back to the first
Okay.
topic and we close this out. So yeah, Joe Biden. What do you? What's your thought?
What do you mean? What do you mean? In what way? Am I
Well,
pro Biden, anti Biden?
no, no. Okay, put it this way. We all know he's too. First of all, he's too old. He's not capable. And
You cannot.
yeah, I'm just a reporter again. Okay, I'm not an investigator. I'm
Okay.
not a. Uh,
Observation. So
I'm
you're
not a
observing.
researcher as well. This show disclaim. This show is reporting again. Put it, and then we just add our own personal view. But according to the media, okay. So according to the media, is saying that he's too old, he's too weak. All the country around the globe is not afraid of him. All that stuff. So my what I'm trying to ask is, what do you think is going to happen to him? Because I'll just give you some example of the prediction that I read. So
Okay.
reporting. So a lot of saying that he will be not in the election race coming up, of course, and the Democratic Party is gonna somehow replace him with Newsom or Michelle Obama,
Or
right?
Michael Obama. I think you mentioned that
Oh
before.
yes, Michael. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why what I'm asking, what do you think about his legacy is? Like, is he gonna be? And then there's another one that he's gonna im- be impeached because of all the corrupt and Hunter Biden.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Almost anything can happen.
Okay.
Seriously, you can look at something and discuss it. Yeah, that's a possibility. Is it
Right.
going to happen? I don't know. It may or may not happen. Now everyone is saying, but that's
Hmm.
part of their narrative, right? We
Yes.
want to make or keep people guessing so we don't know what's really going to happen is what's going to happen.
Right. But the one true statement is Hunter Biden is is a is a drug dealer, right? And if you really take what we just talked about in the beginning, Elon Musk is doing drugs, and they damage character damaging, character assassinating
Well,
him.
if if
And
you're referring to that,
what about
if you're referring to that cocaine that was
Hunter?
found in the White House, he was not
Yes.
even there. No, no.
What about no, not just that, but what about Hunter Biden?
What about
He's
him?
I mean, if we talk about drug related, you know,
Well,
that. But what I'm trying to point out is
okay.
I've been observing, like a lot of left side claim right side is doing, or in this case, you know, uh, Elon Musk doing. They're claiming other people's doing. They're doing it on their own too. You know, I can go whole 9 yard, but we don't have time. But one example
Yeah,
is Hunter Biden, and second is the document that withhold. Remember that someone find something at Biden's house as well, that
oh yes, yes, yes. Some of the
they
documents
claim
taken from
they claim Trump has that too.
yeah,
So
when he was vice president, he took home some classified
exactly.
information. Right.
See, so this is what I'm saying. Like, if people, back to what you said in the beginning, self-aware, self-conscious is, you just let your brain open and let people put in whatever
Well,
they want.
yeah.
Okay, self-awareness is mean for my saying or statement is, yes, there's a lot of resource, like I say, information bombard us 24/7. There's like thousands of information from the time you wake up to go to the time you go to sleep, and what you take in, what you reject. That's what I mean by self-awareness,
Hmm.
self-consciousness. Because a lot of people just glued to the TV, and they just watch TV and news, and when they say grooming, then you follow. Oh, they're grooming people, and you just follow. You don't even know what's that mean.
Well, you know,
That's what we have for you all today, and please have self-awareness, self-consciousness.
and
This
don't
is
forget to buy. Are we going to air this before Valentine's so we can say
yes,
Valentine's for your loved ones and
yeah,
Elon Musk book?
yes, yes. Okay, so it's gonna be a wild, wild west,
It's
2024.
okay. Put on your
Remember,
seatbelt.
Wild Wild West.
Put on your
We
seatbelt.
gotta come back with this movie, Wild Wild West, because
Which Wild Wild West? There's like a few of them.
yeah, we're
Are you
topic
talking about the one with Will Smith?
yeah, we finished off Will Smith last one,
Okay,
remember?
all
So
right.
we finished this one again
Oh
with Will
yes,
Smith.
yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Men in Black and now Wild Wild West. Okay.
yeah, Main Black. All right, no, not Main Black. Independence Day.
Oh, and Independence Day. Okay. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye. Thank you.